not embarrassed to say this, but when IPL 10 started, I thought Delhi Daredevils had all their bases covered. A strong Indian batting core, lots of all-rounders, very good fast bowlers at the end, and it just seemed like it was all going to come together, and it hasn't for Delhi Daredevils. But there's two things I'll remember about them this season, and both were dramatic. The first one slightly lesser so, when you had Rabada and Chris Morris charging in and the balls are flying, and it was almost as close to chin music as T20 can ever give you. And that is something I'll carry in my mind. But then I saw two young men come together. Sanju, Samson, Rishabh, Pant, they've both come from different sides of the first-class season to play together for Delhi Daredevils. In fact, I thought at the start of the season that if one batsman had to be benched, that would be Sanju Samson, because he had such a terrible first-class season, problems on the field, problems off the field, hardly a run, and I feared that we might be left with memories of Sanju Samson playing for Rajasthan Royals and me sitting in a commentary box with Ian Bishop and him telling me, wow, this kid can play, and we all thought Sanju Samson was special. He came from one end. Rishabh Pant came from the other. A triple 100 in the Ranji Trophy, upwards of 800 runs at a strike rate of 100, coming out of that Under-19 World Cup, the blue-eyed boy, everyone's waiting for Rishabh Pant to fire. And then he had a couple of good games, and then down there again, Sanju Samson, a couple of really good games, made you feel great, and then sort of middling, and then they came together. The target was upwards of 200. And these two young men were hitting the ball like they were in a practice session. Not a practice session against quality bowlers, but a practice session against just kids throwing the ball at them and running way beyond outside somewhere to get it back. It was captivating. It really was captivating. One 22 years old who's seen a lot of life already, one just 19, and it just struck me while I was doing commentary on that game that their combined age was 41. Away in the West Indies, Misbah-ul-Haq at 43, older than the two of them combined, had just hit 299s. And it told me that cricket doesn't understand age, that we give too much importance to age. And here were two people who didn't know anything about the fear of failure, or certainly looked like that. There's Rishabh Pant, little 19-year-old, and is hitting the ball as far as anyone else has. He was muscling the ball. You don't use that word with a 19-year-old. He was muscling the ball. And then there was Sanju Samson. Just one tuck. The two or three shots that I remember, the first one, he just played off his pads. And I thought, wow, that was class. Just tuck, that's it. And there it was. Then Rishabh Pant comes in and hits one over cover. Then he picks one, and that is a shot that I remember. Really, he picks one off his hips. He swiveled, that swivel pull shot, and it's gone rows back at backward square. Those three shots, and there we were like this, watching this game. And after that, it was just the most captivating, the most charming innings between these two that you will see. And it told me that the future of Indian batting is not just safe, it is exploding. The key is, how do we manage this explosion? How do we ensure that Sanju Samson doesn't have another two ordinary years in the Ranji Trophy? How do we ensure that this ferocious talent of Rishabh Pant is actually channelized into becoming the kind of player that maybe Virendra Sehwag became? It's too early to say that, but can he become that kind of person? What Samson and Pant have told us is what they're capable of. And it's now up to us, it's up to Indian cricket to take them to a level that maybe even they don't know. But when you look back at the end of IPL 10, when that happens, and you'll close your eyes and say, right, what are my memories of IPL 10? It'll be two young men who made batting look breathtakingly easy and who had, as I then said, such a charming disregard for targets, for boundary lines. They're just so irreverent. And it is that I will remember at the end of the IPL.